Can you believe this? There are only 4 initial Medicare decisions you need to get right. Number 1, decide if you are ready to enroll in Medicare Part A and B. Number 2, decide if you need or want a prescription drug plan like Medicare Part D. And number 3, decide if you want to join a Medicare Advantage plan or stay with original Medicare. Those are the first 3 decisions, and the last one I'll cover in just a few minutes, and that's maybe one of the most important ones because the last decision, the 4th decision, will help all the other decisions so much easier. But I want to pause on this 3rd one. The list, just pause right here because I want to point out a few subcategory decisions that you'll need to navigate depending on what you decide to do in the 3rd decision. So here's what I mean. If you decide to go with a Medicare Advantage plan, then you will need to choose which type of Medicare Advantage plan. In other words, are you willing to go with an HMO network, or would a PPO network plan serve you better? There may also be private fee-for-service plans or Medicare savings account plans offered in your area, and maybe that would suit you better. But then you need to decide which particular Medicare Advantage plan you want to start with. I say start with because you'll get a chance every year to change plans, the Advantage plans every year during the annual election period. So if you want to. Now, on the other hand, going back to the 3rd decision, if you choose to stay with original Medicare, you will then have to decide, do you want to purchase a supplement, also known as a Medigap plan, to cover the gaps in original Medicare. Now, what do I mean by gaps? Simply this. Part B of original Medicare only covers 80% of the Medicare approved claims, leaving you the responsibility of paying the other 20%. This 20% coinsurance amount is an example of a gap that a Medigap plan could cover. So a subcategory decision under the original Medicare route is, can you afford to and do you want to buy a Medigap insurance plan to supplement your coverage? If you do, then that leads to another decision. Which Medicare Gap or Medigap plan version do you want? Here again, there's about 10 different versions to choose from, and these versions vary slightly from state to state. But once you decide on a plan, for example, let's just say Plan G, you then have to decide which insurance carrier you want to purchase it from. Do you prefer to stick with the large, well-branded insurance carriers? Or are you okay with a lesser-known insurance carrier? That's enough for the subcategory decisions. Let's get back to the main list of decisions. The decision number 4 is the final decision on my list, but it really may be the first decision you need to make, or at least the second. In my opinion, deciding who you want to be your agent that can serve you or who will serve you and make your experience with all the other decisions easier or make it more frustrating and confusing. That's your 4th decision. I know sales agents work for a commission, and in many cases, that's true. But this means it should cost you nothing out of your pocket to work with a professional. And think about it, a professional who is trained to guide people just like you through the decision-making process. Ask yourself this, do you want to work with an independent agent who can represent many insurance companies, or do you prefer to work with an employee of one insurance company? Do you want to work with someone who will sit with you and speak face-to-face? Or do you prefer to work over the phone or email? Do you want to build a relationship with an agent who can guide and serve you for years to come? Or are you really just looking for a transactional order taker to get you going? Do you want an agent who works part-time and as an agent and does this Medicare thing as a side gig? Or do you want an agent who focuses on insurance as a full-time career? No matter what preferences you have in regards to an agent, I encourage you to seek advice. If you're like most people approaching this Medicare thing for the first time, you probably don't yet even know all the right questions to ask, and a good agent will not only guide you through your options, but then provide good customer service to you in the future. Depending upon what you're looking for in an agent, we here at Strategic Estate Planning Services may be just what you want. We are independent agents who represent many competitive insurance carriers, and none of the agents here are part-time. We prefer to build long-term relationships with our clients, and we have a beautiful office with support staff to provide great customer service. We are happy to meet with you face-to-face, but depending on where you live, we could just as easily help guide you over the phone if that's what makes the most sense. Listen, like it or not, the Medicare journey, as I call it, requires you to make decisions. Many of them, if they turn out to be a mistake, you can learn from it, change your mind, and move on. But there are a few decisions that are hard to unwind, so you really do want to work with a qualified professional. Give us a call and see just how we can help you. And remember, when it comes to your money, it pays to be strategic.